Welcome to another episode. Let's go ahead and dive into today. Let's go ahead and dive into the earning it mindset and understanding the negative aspects of this mindset, right? For all the positives that it's done for us, for all the positive things that it's helped us create in our lives, right? From the grades that we got in school, to the degree that we've earned, to the career path that we've taken, and the promotions and the bonuses and all the positive things that we have in our lives. Let's also now take a look at the negative aspects of this mindset and how, if we're not careful or we're not cognizant of the negative things, it could absolutely be holding us back just as much as it's been pushing us forward. Okay, so what are the negative aspects or attributes of a earning it mindset? There are a couple. The first part, and I alluded to it last week, is the fact that we can get very resentful in certain situations when we apply this mindset and use it as the lens in which we approach the majority of the world. What does that mean? Well, if we're on a team and we're working together, and let's keep it really simple. Think back. I'm just going to come up with this example on the fly. Think back to working on a project at school as a kid, right? Think about the fact that you had to do projects. Did you enjoy doing projects as a kid with other people? If you're like me, high achieving, high performing, the answer is no. And the reason why I didn't enjoy it, probably a very similar reason for you, is a simple fact that if there were 5 of us total, I probably did half or 3/4 worth of the work, right? And everyone else just did a little bit, and that was it. Why? Well, because I wanted to ensure that I got the grade that I wanted to get, which was an A, right? I wanted to get the highest grade possible. And as we're sitting down and we're divvying up functions and we're talking about the work and, everyone's picking out and the pieces are being allocated, no one's excited. No one's focused in on the A. No one wants to have the highest level result. Everyone's just, I'll do a little bit. I'll get by. Well, I didn't have a get by attitude, right? High achieving attitude. And so I wasn't going to allow my grade to suffer with the get by attitude that everyone else had. And I know that you can probably relate to that in some capacity, right? And if you didn't have that attitude before in grade school, you may very well have adopted that attitude now because you've stepped into this idea that, you know what, I'm going to give what I've got and I want to be rewarded for it. And so if you're on a team in the workplace right now and you have a group of peers, then for you to come up with all these brilliant ideas and strategies and have someone else walk in and present that strategy as their own, right? I was thinking, I thought about this, and they come out and they say all the things that the two of you just talked about that you said in the conversation with them prior. They didn't say it. You said it. It was your idea, but they took credit for it, right? Be a little angry about that. What about, again, working on a team and there's a project that's due in the organization and you're staying up late and you're getting up early and you're putting in the extra hours and, there's 1 or 2 people that aren't doing that. They're pulling just enough weight to get by, but they're not putting in extra. And yet at the end of the day, everyone receives the praise. Everyone may receive a reward or an award, both, for it. And everyone benefits that participated in the project. There may be a little bit of resentment there, a little frustration that's happening because you put in more and yet you got the same. Okay, think about those examples in your career right now. As I'm talking through it, I know without a doubt, because I'm thinking of examples and situations as I'm giving some of these things to you that I've experienced. And no doubt you're thinking through some of those as well. That's a negative aspect of this mindset. Now you're thinking, why, Katrina? Why? Why is that negative? Well, do we really want to walk and move forward in frustration and in resentment? I mean, those are places that I don't ever want to live emotionally. I don't want you to be living there emotionally because those are non-productive emotions. That's a non-productive mindset. And if we sit in that space, we slow ourselves down. Okay, we slow our progress. We slow our growth. And so if for no other reason than the simple fact that we want to make sure that we have the best mindset possible, we maintain our positive momentum, and we keep growing and moving forward, we can't stay in that space for that reason alone. Okay? So that's one of the things. The other aspect of this is that, again, if we're earning it, then the aspect is, I did the work. I created the idea. I am the originator of all of the moving parts that created the end result, that therefore created from that end result my ability to get the reward, to get the promotion, to get the accolade, to get the reward, the award, the pay raise, whatever it is career-wise, right? As an executive, and I talk about this all the time because I work very specifically with new executives. One of the hardest transition points for a new executive is to go from being the doer, being the creator of the process, okay, to then being the creator of the overall strategy, right? The framework for the business. To cast that vision, to say, we're going to go here, and to go here means that we see X, Y, and Z. That's what we're supposed to do as executives for the large part, right? Now, in your company, it may be a little bit different, but again, I'm speaking in generality. Overarchingly, as an executive, our roles are to cast that vision and to create the strategy. And then what we're responsible for doing is to pass that strategy and those expectations down to our direct reports. And the direct report, the person, the role that you used to sit in before becoming that first year executive, that person that now sits in your prior seat is the one that comes up with the procedures for the method of how to generate those results. But if we have the mindset that we're not worthy of the reward, if we didn't roll up our sleeves and do the work or create the process and the pathway to actually generate the results, then we're going to struggle as executives because we don't believe that we're worthy of the paycheck. We don't believe that we're worthy of the seat that we're sitting in. And I know that may sound a little crazy, because if you're at the end of being an executive for 2, 3, 4, 5, 5+ years, you're like, that's insane. But you've worked through that either consciously or subconsciously, if that was ever part of your belief. And for those of you that are new executives, or that you're about to be an executive, that is a struggle that I have seen the majority of new executives face, because there's such a large growth curve to understand how to exec. And part of learning how to exec means I have to understand where and how I add value. And how you add value as an executive is through interactions with others. It's people leadership. It's strategic thinking, planning, and casting a vision. It's thought leadership. It really is. It's thought and people leadership, and it's about relationships and influencing people. And that's not creating a process. That's not rolling up your sleeves and going and doing the work. And when we've taught ourselves throughout our entire lives, when we've spent the bulk of our lifetime associating the fact that our worth and our ability to earn a paycheck is tied to how we do things and how we show up and take action, that is a huge mental shift. And some of us can make that and some of us can't, if we're not clear and intentional about that. That is the other part of this double-edged sword. Those are the two big ones, okay? Living in a non-productive mental state because we're resentful and we're frustrated because people are getting credit for work that we've done. And also the simple fact that we've got to change the definition of worthy and what work looks like as an executive so that we can move forward and actually be successful as an executive. That is the negative attribute. That's the negative side of the earning it mindset. We've got to be very conscious of that. So my homework for you today is this. As you're showing up in your career, are you projecting your rule of earning it on other people to the point that maybe you've lost friendships or relationships, or you're frustrated, you don't talk to certain people, and you've lost personal momentum because of that mindset? Well, you know what? They didn't really earn it. So, I'm angry. I'm frustrated with that. They didn't earn it. I earned it. They didn't earn it. Think about that. And then the other part I want you to think about is if you're a new executive, you're about to be an executive, you're working through the executive process, have you shifted your mindset from I've got to show up and do the work to it's not work. It's not about work anymore. It's about value. And I have to add value in the way in which the company is asking me to add value. And I've got to shift my brain in order to see that. Those are the two questions I want you to ask yourself. Next week, we're going to come back together. I'm going to talk about how to keep the good and how to be cognizant of the risk that we just talked through today and how to manage those pieces. All right. Reach out if I can support you in any capacity. As always, go and be legendary.